Top 25 quarterbacks in college football 2021. Next at the Voice of College Football. All right, everyone. Welcome into our analysis of the 2021 season as we go position by position. We are ranking the top 25 quarterbacks. Please like the video because even if you don't agree with me, if you enjoy what we do here, best discussion, debate, and analysis, that's the aim, that's the goal, that's the mission. Then again, please like the video. Share the videos out on social media because A plus B equals C. If you enjoy the content, others will as well. So please share the videos. It helps grow the channel. Let's do it together. All right. We rank the quarterbacks each season, and I typically do a top 10. This season, I just couldn't help myself. I started writing down names, started expanding the list, and before I knew it, I thought, let's go with 25. Let's go for it. Here we go. At number 25, you got Spencer Sanders, Oklahoma State. Get this. This is one of the great statistical anomalies I've ever run across. Spencer Sanders both attempted and completed the exact same number of passes in 2020 as he did in 2019. 63% completion percentage, over 2,000 yards passing, 14 touchdowns, 8 picks. That's about the same ratio as in 2019. He needs to improve. Less turnovers, both by way of fumble and interception. He's got a 16-8 record. We know he can be a dynamic playmaker minus Tylan Wallace here in 2020. And keep in mind, when I run down my rankings, I'm not projecting statistics. I'm just flat out saying these are the 25 best quarterbacks in college football. And again, I'm making a projection. Not on their statistics, but how good they will be in 2021. At number 24, we've got DTR. Of course, UCLA fans know that that's Dorian Thompson-Robinson. An amazing recruit out of high school, expected to do big things, and merged with Chip Kelly's offense, he should be able to. And for the first time in his career, showed some consistency in 2020, despite an inconsistent schedule because of the pandemic. 65% completion percentage, just over 1,100 yards again, truncated season, 12 touchdowns, 4 picks. He ran for over 5.5 yards per carry and 3 touchdowns. He's always had his, I don't know what you're doing, DTR moments. Like, what are you doing? You look like you've never played the game before. A little too wild, a little too erratic, and sometimes the ball doesn't come out of his hands too well, but less of those moments in 7 games. Chip Kelly, this one's on you. Develop your quarterback. You are an offensive guru, just not in regards to play calling and scheme, but in developing quarterbacks. You've done it in the past. Continue to do it here to make DTR elite. Number 24 on our list, entering 2021. At number 23, we've got old standby Charlie Brewer, now at Utah. This is an interesting match because you've got a team and a program much established at Utah with Kyle Whittingham as one of the great coaches in college football. Underrated, not by this guy, underrated across the board. Now he's got a quarterback who really knows what he's doing. Okay, Tyler Huntley, dual threat quarterback, very successful in leading that program to 2 consecutive conference championship games. Then Jake Bentley didn't necessarily work out, but didn't have much of a season, of course, to play in the Pac-12. Charlie Brewer comes in from Baylor. And, of course, he needed tons of help from the likes of Matt Rule and a defense. And just Matt Rule developed the program so quickly and did a great job. And that's why he's coaching in the NFL in Carolina now. To go from 1 win to 7 to 11 wins and coming that close to a Big 12 championship at Baylor in 3 consecutive years. One of the great turnarounds we've seen in college football in recent memory. And Charlie Brewer was one of the big reasons why. Threw for almost 10,000 yards in Waco, 65 touchdowns, 28 picks, 22 rushing touchdowns as well. 62% his final season as the numbers dropped for a 2-7 football team. Just under 2,000 yards, 14 touchdowns, 8 picks. Charlie Brewer at Utah with a young offense. We'll see if he can provide that leadership, and maybe with everybody talking USC, UCLA, Arizona State, can lift Utah back into title contention in the Pac-12 South. At number 22, the much criticized, enigmatic Bo Nix of Auburn. When Bo is good, he's really good. highly recruited coming out of high school. Fun player to watch, especially when you don't have a stake in the game. When you're just watching as an innocent bystander, Bo, what is he going to do next? Okay, his mechanics are not good. He's played 2 full seasons under Gus Malzahn, an offensive guru, genius, whatever the tag may be. But Gus Malzahn did not work on, successfully at least, Bo Nix's technique. He's always throwing off platform. He's all over the place. It's one thing to be running and throwing. You can do that fundamentally sound. It's basically understood across the board by most that he has some of the worst technique in college football. That makes him extremely erratic. How many times in crucial situations? Probably his worst game was 2 years ago at Florida when Auburn truly had a chance to win that game in playing a great game against Florida, but Bo Nix went like 11 for 27. Not dropped passes, Bo Nix. This was him misfiring and a couple crucial, awful throws for interceptions in the red zone. Bo Nix, hot and cold, dynamic playmaker. Think about what he did in his very first game at Auburn. This was a microcosm of his career. He looked awful for 3.5 quarters against Oregon. Auburn trailed 21-6. Bo Nix pulled it together, got some help from the defense, and then, of course, he went for broke at the end of the game and pulled it out in the final seconds with a tremendous throw and run before the throw to pull out that game. All right, Bo Nix at number 22, coming off 12 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. All right, number 21, we go to the group of 5, and Kent State's Dustin Crum at 6'3". He is a true dual-threat quarterback who's been legendary at Kent State. Led the Golden Flashes to their first bowl win 2 seasons ago. Last season threw for 74% completion percentage. Of course, short season, under 1,200 yards passing in the MAC, and 12 touchdowns, 2 picks. And Dustin Crum, again, only 4 games played, but Kent State led the nation in total offense and in scoring offense. Very impressive. Dustin Crum, Kent State, our 20th rated quarterback in the country. Actually, he's at 21. Number 20 is Jack Coan, former Wisconsin, now a Golden Domer. He should be the starting quarterback this season. Many believe he will not be the starting quarterback by midseason. The Tyler Buckner is that good. But Jack Coan has big game experience. All right, 2 years ago, impressive stats, impressive record by the team as Wisconsin won the Big Ten Western Division, went to the Rose Bowl, lost by 1 point, had a top 12 or 13 team in the country. Jack Coan threw for 70% completion percentage, 18 touchdowns, 5 picks. Of course, he had Jonathan Taylor leading the offense, shouldering the load. Now, Jack Coan's probably going to have to carry a little bit more offense at Notre Dame, even with Kyron Williams right behind him in the backfield, than he did at Wisconsin. But Jack Coan's a quality quarterback. You don't throw for 70% completion percentage in the Big Ten if you're a slouch. Then he got hurt preseason, just prior to the season, when the Big Ten finally determined and figured it out last year. Jack Coan, of course, got hurt. Graham Mertz moved in as the 5-star, won the job, or at least took it by injury, and Jack Coan just decided to move on to South Bend. Of course, the interesting game of the year involving Jack Coan is going to be the matchup against Wisconsin at Soldier Field. All right, at number 20, we got Jack Coan, Notre Dame. At number 19, Grayson McCall, Coastal Carolina, became a star in the 2020 season. Coastal Carolina, the darlings of college football, as they marched to an undefeated regular season, defeated BYU in that huge matchup that was thrown together midseason. Grayson McCall threw for almost 70% completion percentage, almost 2,500 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 3 picks. Now, this is a difficult task ranking any of the positions because you've got Power 5 players, Group of 5 players, and of course the Group of 5 players, the statistics are going to be exaggerated because they play against lesser competition, and it's impossible to make that direct comparison. But 26-3 TD to pick ratio is ridiculous. He ran for almost 600 yards, 7 touchdowns as well, and of course had the big matchup games against BYU in which they won, Louisiana in which they won, and then a classic bowl game loss to Liberty, Grayson McCall at number 19 on our list. At number 18, we've got, and I hate to do this, I never do this, and I typically criticize, at least internally, online platforms that do this when they say, okay, there's a quarterback battle, so whoever wins this job is going to be the 8th best quarterback in the conference. And I think, well, that doesn't make sense. They're the same. They're two different players. How could you say this player is exactly as good as this player and whoever wins the job? Okay, I'm doing it here just because I want to place one of these guys, the LSU starting quarterback, around this area on the list at number 18. Myles Brennan should win the job. Max Johnson, those got about a 40% chance, I would estimate at this point. Myles Brennan, this was pretty amusing because I don't know how many times I stated after the big Joe Burrow national championship year in which he threw 60 touchdowns that, shoot, Myles Brennan could throw for 40 touchdowns, and that's a 20 TD decline and still have a ridiculous year. How many guys throw for 40 touchdowns? Myles Brennan, through 3 games, had thrown 11 touchdowns. Multiply that by 5. 11 times 5, 55 touchdown passes. That is the pace Myles Brennan was on. 55 touchdown passes, 60% 3 interceptions. Or you got Max Johnson, who of course played down the stretch for LSU, had a fine 8-to-1 TD to pick ratio, had stellar games as LSU finished strong against Ole Miss with 53 points on the board, and then of course the shoe game against Florida. And Max Johnson started both of those games, played well. So it's a competition that's probably going to be decided about a week before Game 1 at UCLA. At number 17, you got C.J. Stroud of Ohio State. Another difficult call because we've got a quarterback battle that is still raging. It could be Jack Miller. It could be Kyle McCord as the starting quarterback at Ohio State. Most people believe it's going to be Stroud. He's got more experience, even though he's never thrown a pass in college football. Of course, the famous fact that is out there, not really a statistic, fact that's out there is that Ohio State starting quarterback will definitely not have a collegiate pass under his belt for the first time in 50 years. C.J. Stroud, probably going to be the starting quarterback. He's got the best grasp of the offense at this point. And I do not compile this list based on statistics, but you've got to think that the man that emerges as the Ohio State quarterback is going to put up big numbers still in this offense with the best wide receiver core, most likely in college football. At number 16, we go back to the group of 5 with Nevada's Carson Strong. A lot of people don't know about him. He threw 27 touchdowns, 4 picks last year. The NFL scouts love him. 5 touchdowns, no picks in the bowl win against Tulane, 70% completion percentage. Carson Strong, 16th best quarterback in college football. At number 15, a guy that had a super 2019, fell off in 2020. We'll see about one Tanner Morgan at Minnesota. So he set program records in 2019. Yards per attempt, completions, touchdowns, 30 TDs, 7 picks. He fell down to 7 TDs, 5 picks, only a 58% passer last season. Second-year offensive coordinator Mike Sanford, somewhat criticized in some circles for his play calling, and that was his first year, replacing Kirk Shiraka as the offensive coordinator at Minnesota. So Sanford working with Tanner Morgan. He's got one of the best running backs in all of college football behind him to help support him. Tanner Morgan, we believe, will bounce back strong as the 15th best quarterback in college football in 2021. Please like the video, share the videos out on social media, and of course, subscribe here at the Voice of College Football. Shop Amazon using the link in the description section below. If you shop Amazon, and we know 160 million Americans do each month, then please use the link in the description section. It's the same exact shopping experience. Does not cost you a penny. Helps us grow the channel. Number 14, UCF's Dillon Gabriel. Quite a few group of 5 quarterbacks here. And Dillon Gabriel, man, 32 TDs, 4 picks last year. in a short season. 61 touchdowns, 11 picks in his career. Of course, the UCF offense has been prolific in recent years under Scott Frost, Josh Heupel, Mackenzie Milton, now Dillon Gabriel. The lefty can light it up. At number 13, we've got Cincinnati's Desmond Ritter. Of course, he has been the 3-year starting quarterback for one of the best offenses in the group of 5 and the best team in the group of 5. 66% completion percentage last year, 2,300 yards, 19 touchdowns, 6 picks. Okay, he played in the group of 5 against maybe the most talented defense in the country. I didn't say the best. Maybe the most talented. Georgia in the Peach Bowl. What do you do? 24 for 37 for 206, 2 touchdowns, no picks. 3-year starting quarterback with 36 games under his belt, looking to do big things, even bigger things at Cincinnati in 2021, of course, with those non-conference games against Indiana and Notre Dame. Desmond Ritter will be an even bigger name in college football come November. At number 12, we go to the Big 12, I believe for the first time, at Iowa State's Brock Purdy. Okay, he's been, along with Matt Campbell, the program builder. We know what Matt Campbell has done. Well, he's done it with Brock Purdy at quarterback. 19 touchdowns, 9 picks, 67% completion percentage last year. Okay, the last play against Oklahoma is a microcosm of the negative side of Brock Purdy. He leads Iowa State all the way back from 3 scores down to within 27-21. They've got the Big 12 championship in its sights. They're on the plus side of the 50. Plenty of time. First down, goes for broke, throws an awful pass, double coverage down the right sideline, picked off, game over, championship hopes, 0, squashed. Okay. But he's a tremendous quarterback. Matt Campbell says he's just a gamer. Best quarterback in the history of the program. Exceeding and succeeding and superseding Seneca Wallace. All right. Quarterback number 11 on our list of rankings here, Michael Penix of Indiana. Go to the Penn State game and check out what he did. He was boxed up, bottled up, not effective most of the game. Final drive of the game. Led Indiana down the field 75 yards, and then, of course, made the play, one of the plays of the season in college football, extending to the goal line and winning with the 2-point conversion play to the pylon. 14 TDs, 4 interceptions before he was hurt. And then you saw what Indiana's offense could not do with Michael Penix out of the lineup. Very pedestrian effort against Wisconsin. Lost the bowl game against Ole Miss. Look what Michael Penix did against Ohio State. I know the secondary's in shambles at times at Ohio State, but the defense still ultra-talented. And he ripped them up for 35 points and a great comeback in the second half. Michael Penix, our 11th ranked quarterback in college football. At number 10, you go out to Arizona State and Jayden Daniels, and of course, much like the Pac-12, and especially at Arizona State where they only played 4 games, we didn't get to see Jayden Daniels play meaningful football really in 2020. The season before, as a freshman, Jayden Daniels led more fourth quarter comebacks than any quarterback in college football against the likes of Oregon, Michigan State, and other quality teams. Last year, 5 TDs, 1 pick, 58% completion percentage. Young offense around him last season. Well, they only got the 4 games in, but they'll be, to a degree, more experienced. Better running backs, wide receivers, more experienced around him here in 2021. Jayden Daniels, number 10 on our quarterback list. All right, now the 9th best quarterback in college football entering 2021 is Ole Miss's Matt Corral, who threw 14 interceptions, 11 in 2 games, 6 against Arkansas, 5 against LSU. Still played a great game otherwise against LSU in putting up 48 points, but Matt Corral those interceptions, and you will move up the list. 71% in Lane Kiffin's offense. Of course, this is Matt Corral within the Lane Kiffin offense and tons of weapons in this Ole Miss offense, even though they lost 2 of the best playmakers in the SEC, of course. 3,300 yards in a shortened season, 29 touchdowns. 14 picks, 29 touchdowns. Matt Corral's our ninth best quarterback in college football. At number 8, we go to Alabama and Bryce Young. And you say, Mark, how can you rank Bryce Young because he's never played? Okay, he's played a little bit, okay, against Missouri, threw a touchdown. He's never played any meaningful minutes. Okay, this is a projection. So it's mostly based on what we've seen, but there's a projection forward. In 2018, I ranked Tua Tagovailoa as the best quarterback in the SEC. He barely had any statistics. Outside the national championship game, no meaningful play before that. So he had one half of football in non-garbage time. I ranked him number 1. He was the best quarterback in the SEC. Bryce Young, the 5-star. If Nick Saban's going to start him, he's ready to go. He's got Bill O'Brien as an offensive coordinator who's exceptional. Yes, the height could be a slight issue, a play here, a play there, but he's a special talent. Otherwise, he would not be the starting quarterback at Alabama. Bryce Young, the 8th best quarterback in the nation, coming into 2021. Maybe he rises after that. At number 7, a quarterback that I've seen rated much higher elsewhere. I think this is where he belongs, of course. That's why I got him here. Kedon Slovis, USC. 67% completion percentage, 17 touchdowns, 7 picks. For much of what happened last season, I thought it was just me, or I was wondering if anybody else saw it. Then I talked to my USC people, and yes, it was being talked about in Southern California about Kedon Slovis's arm strength, arm delivery. Is he hurt? What happened? Wasn't throwing the ball crisply last season. Got by based on gamesmanship, guile, and it slowly came out this spring. Yeah, he was not 100% last year. And we know what he did the year before when he came out of nowhere after USC starting quarterback was hurt. So it was JT Daniels, and then Kedon Slovis, of course, came in as the third-string quarterback, a freshman who hadn't played, threw up the 30 touchdowns, grabbed the job. JT's out of town, but as long as he's healthy, 7th best quarterback in college football, leading the Trojans. All right, at number 6, we've got D'Eriq King of Miami. Okay, here's a quarterback that I've got to make a projection based on health. Hopefully he's 100%, especially for game 1 against Alabama. D'Eriq King threw 23 touchdowns, 5 picks, 2,600 yards plus, 64% completion percentage. His career numbers are staggering. 73 touchdowns throwing, 32 rushing, 105 touchdowns, 15 picks. He's got the ACL, facing Bama. He's got an offense that should allow him to do all sorts of things. His receivers let him down at times. Of course, we know that. The running back situation is one of the best in college football. The offensive line is improving and should be better. D'Eriq King finally found the long throw and the chemistry with his receivers, starting with that North Carolina State game in particular. If you want to see D'Eriq King at his best throwing the ball, watch him play North Carolina State when he pulled that game out when the Canes were down by 10. The 6th best quarterback in college football 2021, D'Eriq King, Miami. At number 5, I know this is going to be a controversial pick. I'm projecting forward. Phil Jurkovec, Boston College. 61%, 2,600 yards, 17 TDs, 5 picks. When I watched him play North Carolina last year and do everything he possibly could to pull off an upset against a superior team, a more talented team, when he didn't have the weapons getting open, he was running for his life. His offensive line, though BC produces great run-blocking offensive lines, he was running for his life. I was sold right there. And that was his first season. Imagine the improvement now. 17 TDs, 5 picks. Phil Jurkovec, 5th best quarterback in college football. All right, at number 4, we go to Clemson and DJ Uiagalelei. 67%, 900 plus yards, 5 touchdowns, no picks. Of course, he played in relief of Trevor Lawrence, and he played an important role against quality competition. First against Boston College. Think about this. First start, gets down 28-6, leads his team back to victory. Second game, goes to Notre Dame on the road, puts up 40, puts up 439 yards. Yes, those people that believe in quarterback records, I think it has its place. You can look at it, but I don't hang that on the quarterback and say, this is your record versus this guy's record. It's one statistic to consider. Well, he didn't lose that game. Sure, he made a mistake or two, but he went to Notre Dame, put up 40 against that defense, and threw for more yards than any quarterback in history. DJ's at number 4 on our list, as he's going to skyrocket in regards to reps, experience. Get ready for this season and get ready for those Georgia Bulldogs on September 4th. All right, at number 3, we go to Georgia. So you got quarterbacks number 3 and 4 matching up. J.T. Daniels, the 5-star who could have still been in high school, enrolled at USC early, as many people do, but he was way, way before his time. So much so he could not participate in spring practice. He was supposed to be a senior in high school still. Student of the game, just wanted to soak up the offense, be around the offensive team, even though he could not step on the field. Had his issues at USC. The team did not perform well around him his first season. They went 5-7. He only played the one game before getting hurt in 2019. And then finally we got to see him against Mississippi State and play those final, 4 games? 10 TDs, 2 picks, 1,200 yards. J.T. Daniels, third best quarterback in college football, 2021. All right, at number 2, we go to Oklahoma. And as soon as I saw him throw it, even though it was against Southeast Missouri State, game number 1, I thought, this guy's as talented and as special as everybody says he is. Yes, he made mistakes in early season losses, specifically against Kansas State. A couple things happened. He got better, of course, he got more experience. He learned from his mistakes. Also, the running game at Oklahoma was averaging just about 3 yards per carry the first 3 or 4 weeks. The running game supported him after that, the defense as well. So he didn't have to throw it 45 times. I think he's going to be prepared to be that kind of player this year when they need him to throw 45 times. But Oklahoma, of course, is showing us that they can be a better team, projected better team by being a balanced team. Spencer Rattler finished off with 7 games at 15 TDs and 2 picks. 68% completion percentage, number 2 quarterback in our rankings for 2021. That leaves us the number 1 quarterback in the country. And it's Kenny Pickett of Pitt. No, it's Sam Howell of North Carolina. 68% completion percentage, 30 TDs, 7 picks. 37-7 the year before. Think about this. Stepped on the field for a North Carolina team that had won 5 total games the 2 previous seasons against South Carolina. Double-digit underdog. Down by double digits in the 4th quarter of his first game. Pulled the game out. Led 2 4th quarter drives. Won the game. First game. True freshman. And he's been remarkable ever since. Just lit it up last year. Mac Brown raves about him. Both Mac and Sam Howell have said during spring practice, hey, we're getting better here. We're just not relying on, okay, I've got NFL skills. The scouts say I'm going to be a top 5 pick next year. Let's go get him. No, getting stronger, getting faster, getting more flexible. That was a big key just to make him really be able to escape the pocket, but also rip those throws. Stronger, to be more flexible in the hips. Quicker decisions, better decisions, but also quicker decisions. They really worked on that during the spring as well, according to Howell and Mac Brown. Our number 1 quarterback in all of college football is Sam Howell of North Carolina. And you know what I think? Since I made a list of about 50 dudes, down in the description section, of course, is the Amazon link. You're going to use that to buy at Amazon, but also we're going to leave our honorable mention. So we went 25 strong at quarterback. Leave your comments below, right here at the Voice of College Football. Mark Rogers TV.